Can we say the PDP is also culpable here? Because you mentioned Senator Ndume. He's not a member of the APC, is he?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, okay. That's a fair comment to make. I'll also go a step further by telling you that I also condemned the former chairman of the PDP, Alhaji Bamanga Tukru, sometime last year when he described Boko Haram as people that were fighting for justice. It was only two people in this country came out, had the courage to speak against that. And that was the president of CAN, Pastor Pt.4, and myself. So I condemned that at that time, and thankfully the chairman was changed. He went away. Now, Ndume, yes, is a member of the PDP. However, he has strong links, or it appears that he knows the movements of Boko Haram. Let me put it like that. He appears he knows their strategies, their movements. He knows so much about them. And whether it's PDP or APC, I think it's important that these questions should be answered. You see, the point I'm making is this. Anybody that has inside knowledge, or anybody that sympathizes or acts as an intermediary or a spokesman or a defender of Boko Haram, whether you're in PDP or APC, must be seen as an enemy of this country. We cannot have Haramites within any of the political parties. We only want to have good Christians and good Muslims that believe in a secular state, that reject the concept of an Islamic fundamentalist state, that reject the concept or the idea that they cannot abide or live under a Christian president, and so on and so forth. We've been living together for many, many years. We must not allow these people to come between us and divide us. That's basically my view, and that's basically my philosophy.
Well, I think that should have been the philosophy for all Nigerians, because as much as I can remember, Bamanga Tukuru wasn't actually taken out of office because of that comment he made. But it would seem as if politicians, irrespective of what political party they belong, are the ones causing all of this trouble for the nation, isn't it?
I wouldn't say it's just politicians. I think I'm sorry, is he still speaking?
No, go ahead.
Sorry, there's a delay, so I keep on getting mixed up. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, sure. You know, I think the political class, for example, has been very, very far too reserved about this matter. I mean, every politician on both sides of the political divide, on all sides of the political divide, should be able to come out courageously to condemn Boko Haram every single day. What I found is that most of the opposition politicians spend their time condemning the government and not condemning Boko Haram. Now, as far as I'm concerned, criticize the government as much as you like. That's our right. And that's what, are we to go on? Yes. And that's what we're supposed to do. But you must understand that the enemy is not the government. The enemy is Boko Haram. And those that are supporting them covertly, those that are behind them, those that are encouraging them, and those that are saying they shouldn't be prescribed, those that are saying that they should be treated with kid gloves. These are people that slit the throat of children, that abduct little girls, that steal them from their schools, and that commit all kinds of atrocities against our people. They're not human beings, they're beasts. And as far as I'm concerned, anybody that has anything good to say about them has to be suspect.
As at the time you said you left the APC to the PDP, and I'm sure you read a lot of comments. There were so many comments about what transpired, whether or not you were in that party. Some of them credited to the leadership of the APC at the time. Some of the comments that made the rounds also was that some of the cases against you, the one you're facing, was going to be dropped. What can you tell us about comments as though you were never a member of the APC, the cases against you will be dropped, and those who were questioning the intention of your movement from the APC to the PDP?
Well,
I beg your pardon?
What I've discovered is that it's always in the nature of many of our people to assume the worst. There's worse motives for whatever anybody does. I am accountable to my conscience and to God and to nobody else, and to those around me, those that matter to me. God knows the reasons why I went to the APC in the first place. I spent almost a year there, and I left after 1 year, having come across what I came across there. And I was moved by my passion and my conviction for this country, for righteousness and for truth. And I did the right and proper thing to retrace my steps, to go back to the family I came from, simply because it was clear to me that APC were not fit to handle power in this country. You talk about charges, you talk about cases. Nothing has been dropped, no charges have been dropped, and I'll prefer they're not dropped because we're almost at the end of that case. It's been going on for 5 years. Nobody has discussed it. We were in court last week, and we'll be in court again soon, and I'm glad to be there. This has nothing to do with that, and I will kill that lie here and today. Secondly, you spoke about position or no position, member or no member. I joined the the APC in February. I declared for the APC before the party was even registered. That was last year sometime, before the party was even registered. And people said, why would you declare for a party that hadn't been registered? I said, well, it's an act of faith. Let's see what happens. And I was proved right. And I joined them formally in my ward in Ife with many other leaders from Osun State in my ward in Ife earlier this year. Now, having been with them for 1 year, I realized that I cannot operate within a cult, a two-man cult, where dissension is not tolerated, where people are not accepted for who they are, and where you cannot, have a different opinion to some of the other leaders. And I chose to leave, and that's my right, and that's my prerogative, and I've done that. And I will do, and I'll stay, and I'll continue to leave any group of people that I'm not comfortable with, because I don't operate in cults. I've never been a member of a cult. I am a politician, and I'm a leader, and I'm moved by my convictions. You see, let me put it to you in slightly more graphic terms. Since you asked, APC was like a beautiful woman that you saw. You have a beautiful lady on this show right now. It's like a beautiful woman. And you look at her, you feel attracted to her. You say, well, that's a beautiful woman. Let me get close to her. It provides an alternative. You get close to the woman. You touch her hair. She smiles at you. You see her teeth, and suddenly you smell her breath. And the breath is absolutely awful, and it almost causes you to faint. You look at her hands, you find that she has long talons, you find she's got blood on her hands, you find that she has questions to answer, and you say, goodness me, this is not what I banked on. I only looked at it from the outside. I've been on the inside. Regardless of what anybody says, I'm not happy with what I saw, and I chose to exercise my right to move away. I never questioned somebody like the former Vice President Atiku, who changed parties 4 times in the space of 5 years. I never questioned Buhari. I never questioned Tinubu, who are enemies before politically they're now together. I never questioned so many others that chose to leave their other parties to join other parties. I always assume the best in people. Why should anybody question my own motives, and why should anybody lay aspersions on my character? But it really doesn't matter to me what anybody thinks. The most important thing is that we join hands to try our best to ensure that those that seek to destabilize this country for political reasons in order to get this Southern Christian out of power at the center will fail in their endeavors, and fail they will.
Okay, we've got to go now, but you do know that for some of the things you've said today, there may be people who may decide to bring up libel, slander cases against you.
Well, they can say what they like. I've spoken about the party. I've tried not to mention names, except where I've attributed quotes. And as I'm very comfortable with the fact that what I've said is perfectly reasonable within the law. And I would repeat and reiterate it, that comments were made. These are my views about these comments, and some of these things need to be explained. I'm quite comfortable with that.
All right, thank you very much indeed for speaking with us today on Sunrise Today. Femi Fani-Kayode is a former Minister of Aviation, speaking to us today on the state of the nation.